If there are any. Yes. If you hold on for a mic, if you don't mind. Try to be muted.
Nick Menstrau, Casno, but I'm actually asking this as the immediate past master of a grade 12 livery company. For these sort of social investments, who decides? Is it the charity committee or is it the investment committee? Because you're effectively, allowing a lesser return. Therefore, where does it go? And going on from that, you say you can take the financial risk. What about the credit risk? You've obviously got to look at the underlying charity as well and make sure that's on a sound footing.
Okay, two questions. First, the investment committee has delegated authority to make investments up to £250,000. Above and beyond that, it goes with a recommendation to the main trustee board. The investment committee is chaired by me, a trustee, and the makeup of the committee is 50-50 trustees and external advisors. Our chief executive, however, is also a trustee, so is also on the investment committee. So if you like, the trustee board has the majority of voices on the investment committee. Your second question about due diligence, I think that we do our due diligence ourselves and we wouldn't dream of farming it out. But yes, that's very, very important. And that was why I said I think in many ways our grant making has benefited, because I think we've learned more about the due diligence. The detail of how our staff go about doing it, I'm afraid I can't give you. But I'm sure that we could have a conversation about that, and you could have a conversation with our chief executive. But I think one of the things that we probably didn't do was, in the instance that failed, was to be completely clear about the financial situation, not of the parent organisation, but of the enterprise that they were setting up. So, yeah, some very important lessons learned there.
Thank you, Anna. So, one more question, then we'll move on. I'm just conscious of the time.
My name is Edward Weiss. I'm a trustee of the YMCA. If I heard the speaker correctly, she said that organisations shouldn't be frightened of applying for grants or being dependent on grants. Could I just say that a particular problem that we have is that we could get a grant, sometimes a major grant, for getting a project underway, but at the end of, say, 2 years or 3 years, what happens then? And to what extent is your organisation or organisations generally prepared to renew their grants?
Alan, have you got a comment?
I think that, you need to talk to your funders. Some of us have Barry Cadbury Trust, for instance, has been grant aiding particular organisations for over 20 years because they continue to do work that is absolutely central to our objectives. Whereas in other instances, the grant might be just for a piece of work that lasts 6 months. Big Lottery Fund, when I joined it 12, 14 years ago, however long ago it was, had very strict rules about the length of grants and the repeating. But over the years they've shifted, and they now will make grants over quite a substantial period of years, and indeed, provided there's evidence of development, will continue grant aiding. That's just two organisations I have experience
That
of.
is not our experience with a lot of projects. They seem to be demanding something very new at the end of each grant period.
I think you just need to talk to the grant officers. There are a lot of programs, and the programs are different, obviously. So some of them are short term and some of them are longer term. But my advice is talk to your funder, because you and your funders will want the same thing in the end. And if you've got that relationship and you've got that shared objective, then it should be easier to get funding over a longer period.
Thank you, Matt. Now, we'll come back to that, I'm sure, in the general question time at the end of our